Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking some truly fascinating source material from the heroesmartacademy series called The Architecture of Biological Resilience, Ecosystem Stability and Biodiversity. If you're an 8th grader, or honestly just someone curious about the hidden blueprints of the natural world, you are in the right place. We're going to explore exactly how life itself is constructed, piece by piece, to withstand some of the most incredible forces of nature. To kick things off, I want you to picture a brick wall in your head. Just a massive, sturdy brick wall. Now, what happens if you pull a single brick out? Probably nothing, right? The wall stays up. But what happens if you pull out too many bricks? Eventually, the entire structure comes crashing down. Well, that crumbling wall is the exact same fragile architecture we see in our ecosystems. Nature is literally built brick by living brick. And today we're going to see how that intricate design holds everything together. To really grasp how this all works, our source material actually starts by rooting its explanation in a specific worldview. It points to Psalm 104, verse 14, which says, "He makes grass grow for the cattle and plants for people to cultivate, bringing forth food from the earth." The source uses this to show how these interconnected systems were purposefully designed from the ground up to sustain life. It's like looking at a massive, living puzzle, where every single piece truly matters. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, the wall of life. Number 2, how biodiversity creates stability. Number 3, nature's safety net in action. Number 4, why ecosystem stability matters. And we'll wrap up with number 5, wisdom, education, and peace. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the wall of life, understanding the basics of our ecosystem. So let's look at a core concept here, biodiversity. It might sound like a big academic word, but it's simply the variety of different species in a given area. Think back to our brick wall analogy for a second. Every plant, animal, insect, and fungus acts like a brick holding up that ecosystem wall. Or actually, another way to look at it is that biodiversity functions as a giant safety net. The more threads you have in the net, the stronger it is when something heavy drops into it. And that perfectly illustrates our next point. A choir sounds better with many voices. An ecosystem is basically nature's choir. It adapts and thrives when different life forms, from the microscopic fungi breaking down dead leaves in the dirt, to the tallest trees reaching for sunlight, all the way to the busy bees pollinating flowers, work together. If you only have one voice singing, a tiny mistake completely ruins the song. But with a whole choir, the song carries on beautifully, even if one singer loses their voice.
That brings us to section 2, how biodiversity creates stability, the science of resilience.
Now, what's really interesting about this is seeing resilience in action. Notice the garden on the left side of this comparison. The only pollinators are bees. Now look at the right side, a garden with bees, butterflies, and beetles. If a disease or a sudden harsh frost wipes out the bee population, what happens to the garden on the left? Total collapse. The flowers won't get pollinated, the plants won't reproduce, and the system dies. But the garden on the right, it survives, because the butterflies and beetles are still there to pick up the slack. That is exactly how biodiversity creates stability when disaster strikes. Moving right along to section 3, nature's safety net in action, the mystery of the missing keystone species.
Let's solve a quick ecosystem mystery involving what scientists call a keystone species. A keystone is the block at the very top of an arch that holds the whole structure together. If you remove it, everything crashes down. So step 1, imagine sea otters suddenly disappear from a coastal environment. What happens next? Well, sea otters love to eat sea urchins, which are these very hungry, spiky little creatures that blanket the ocean floor. So step 2, without otters patrolling the waters, the sea urchins rapidly multiply out of control. And that leads to step 3, sea urchins eat kelp. This massive, unchecked army of urchins completely destroys the underwater kelp forests, turning a vibrant habitat into a barren wasteland. This biological domino effect shows us exactly what happens when you pull that crucial sea otter brick out of the wall. The entire habitat just collapses.
We actually see this exact same safety net at work in the ocean's coral reefs. When it comes to surviving disasters, more species equals a faster recovery from bleaching. Now, coral bleaching is a devastating event caused by warming waters that stresses the coral and turns it completely white. But research proves that highly diverse coral reefs, the ones packed with dozens of different fish, crustaceans, and coral species all working together, can bounce back so much better than reefs with fewer species. The sheer diversity of life literally helps the environment heal itself. It acts as an active defense mechanism against environmental shocks.
So we've covered the what and the how. Let's tackle section 4, why ecosystem stability matters. what we gain, and our role as caretakers.
The crucial thing to remember here is that this isn't just about fish and flowers. It is deeply tied to our everyday lives. Look at what a stable ecosystem actually provides for us: clean water to drink, nutritious food to eat, fresh oxygen to breathe, and natural barriers that offer protection from extreme weather. We depend entirely on this giant, complex machine, and recognizing these vital benefits reminds us of a really profound responsibility highlighted in our source material. We are meant to be active caretakers of this incredible world entrusted to us. We have to make sure we aren't knocking down the very walls that shelter us.
Let's do a rapid-fire homework check to really cement what we've learned today. Number 1, how does biodiversity contribute to stability? Simple. Biodiversity equals stability. More bricks, stronger wall. Number 2, a keystone species example? Our furry friends, the sea otters, keeping those spiky urchins in check. Number 3, what happens when a species goes missing? The entire food web becomes highly fragile. Number 4, why are diverse reefs more stable? Because they recover faster from disasters like bleaching. And finally, number 5, ecosystem stability benefits us because humans gain vital resources like food, water, oxygen, and protection.
Now, let's zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture in our final section: wisdom, education, and peace, building a strong foundation for life. You know, the concepts we just learned about the fragility of nature, they translate directly to the fragility of our own human choices. There's a core philosophy from the heroesmartacademy Godly Learner series that sums this up perfectly: education without morality will hurt. Think about it. What is the point of being incredibly smart, memorizing all the science facts in the world, and getting highly educated if you lack the moral foundation to stop making bad choices? Just like an ecosystem needs the right balance of diverse species to survive, the source argues that a successful life requires an intertwining of education and biblical morality. Without that balance, you end up making decisions that hurt yourself and the world around you.
And this beautifully ties into our ultimate goal, which is finding real stability. As the source notes from Romans 8, verses 6 through 7, there is a promise of peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. The lesson here is that just as a thriving, diverse ecosystem operates in perfect harmony and stability, a spiritually anchored mind brings a lasting, stable peace to our own lives. It grounds our education in something eternal.
Which brings me to a final question for you to chew on today. How will you use your education and your spiritual mindset to make good choices and actually be a caretaker of the earth? Don't just learn these facts for a test. Consider how you can use this knowledge, combined with a strong moral foundation, to actively protect the beautiful, intricate web of life we've been examining. Thank you so much for exploring the architecture of biological resilience with me in this explainer. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and I'll catch you next time.